check. With Ridenour and Robinette.
Sound check.
With Ridenour and Robinette. I like it. One more time.
Oh, sound check.
Woo!
Ridenour and Robinette. Hey, 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 yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got a sound check. Ridenour and Robinette.
Should I take a verse? Should I take a verse?
Get it.
Well, we're here at the studio with my good friends. We're here doing our thing, baby. I hope it never ends. Oh, sound check.
Ridenour and Robinette.
Robinette.
Oh, yeah. Sound check.
Robinette.
Robinette. Hey, everybody.
That was awesome.
Well,
man.
I guess you know where you're at. Welcome to Sound Check with Ridenour and Robinette. Yes, sir. What you got to say, man?
That was a lot of work. Welcome, everybody. Very, very, very happy that we're here once again. It's picking up lots of momentum. The podcast is doing fantastic.
It's on fire,
We want to
baby.
thank everybody for subscribing, following us on Facebook, hitting the subscribe button, being part of what we're doing here for the South Florida musical community. And things have just been going great. Past interviews have been going great. You could always go back to our
YouTube channel.
or what would you call our library of
Our catalog.
our catalog? That's the word.
Season
See,
1.
that's why Jason is here.
Season 1.
So go back to our catalog of interviews. You're more than welcome to go back and look. If you have any suggestions, by the way, of anybody that you might want to have on our show, if you want to go on our show or promote one of your shows, if you're a musician or
Feel
whatever
free
it may
to
be,
get a hold of us.
get a hold of us, leave us a comment below. And other than that, things are going really, really well. Today is another big day. I mean,
It's a monster.
you know, when we call these people, or you call them, or I call them, and we ask them to be part of this, it's very cool that they don't really hesitate. They just don't. They don't say, well,
We've
what
been
is it
very
all
fortunate.
about? How much am I going to get paid? You know, can I, you know, what does it entail? How far do I got to drive? No, it's tell me when,
I'll be
and
there.
we'll be there. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
it's been really
and today
cool.
is another example of Steve Gordon, who, by the way, is going to be our guest today. I mean, it's so funny when you anything in life, I guess you could use this as an example, but you go and see his band, Private Stock, who they've been around forever. Matter of fact, I played with Eric when we were kids. And you see him playing up there. You don't know what every person, what their life or background is. Who would think that this guy playing at this bar or on this cruise ship playing guitar has done what he's done? The gold albums, you know, the Grammys. He's been involved with so many huge projects. Steve Gordon, by the way, producer, engineer, guitar player. He lives down in the Miami area. Great guy. He's going to be our guest today. And did you prep for that at all? Did you think of some questions that you're going to
I got some questions. I remember first meeting Steve when he played in Wolfgang.
Yeah.
And I think I was in Harvest and we would play opposite each other. I think at the Treehouse, maybe. I can't remember for sure.
Well, that would
maybe
be the era.
Or
And also
maybe
the button.
Big Daddies, maybe.
He might even
something
did
like
the
that.
Agora. That's a long time ago.
Anyway, he's going to be on today. It's going to be a great episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to find out Steve's backstory and all the cool things that he's done. And maybe there's some crazy things and not so good things, but we're going to find out.
I have a couple things to add. First thing, today is a good day because I have these Hey Dudes. Have you ever had a pair of these?
Dude, it's the only day I haven't worn them, Ray. Usually
Oh,
I
you
got
have-
them on.
These Hey Dudes, I got 3 pairs. You ever had a Hey Dude? When is your birthday?
May 19th.
May 19th.
Well, mine's May 10th.
May 19th, dude.
Maybe he'll buy us
These are
both
like
a pair.
walking on air. So I got a few pairs. I just want to say hey to the Hey Dudes. I love those.
If you'd
And
like to
also-
sponsor the podcast, hey dudes.
Yeah, there's another idea.
Why not?
And the other thing is, I have this little bottle of lotion thing that I put under my eye, and it tightens up these eyes a little bit, so they're not as wrinkly.
Yeah.
Because I noticed in the podcast that
Bag cream.
holy Christ, man! I hope nobody has like one of those big screen monitors. Holy shit, I look like 300 years older. I mean, from here, maybe not so bad, but anyway, so I'm really happy today because I got the thing under my eye, so hopefully that straightened it out. You're looking at me like it didn't do a damn thing, did it?
No, I'm thinking I need to use some.
Oh my God, dude, I got it. It's amazing. Put a little bit on
We're going
there.
to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. We're going to put some bag cream on.
So
and see if we
anyway,
can-
the Skinner thing went pretty good.
yeah.
I want to shout out to South Florida Legends. A free spot for him, of course. Great guy, Paul. I want to thank the Miniachi Theater for bringing us in, giving us really, really good treatment, treating it the way they treat the bands from the minute you walk in the door. It's a lot of work for the bands out there that are, touring theaters, bigger shows, bigger venues. I'm not talking about original touring bands that are selling records. I'm talking about in the cover band tribute realm circuit. It's a lot of work. I mean, the back end red tape nobody knows.
Right.
Right. I can spend a whole hour talking about the contracts, the agreement, the IOC, the
analytics,
the insurance,
the whole thing.
the insurance, the register. They have had us register to park. There had 6 guys had to register to park. And then you got to make sure the insurance binder is it $1 million, is it $2 million? How you get paid, when do you get paid? But it's a lot of red tape in the background. But all in all, I respect all those tribute bands and those big show bands that put a lot of pieces together. A lot of work goes behind the scenes. But it all went well.
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier, though. The difference in it's a tribute band versus I was just down the street and heard that, them doing X amount of songs at another venue.
Mm-hmm.
You show up at a theater and you're a tribute band and you're playing. It's the perception. It's a much bigger deal, and there's a hell of a lot more things involved putting it together and putting it on.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some thinking and think how I want to move forward doing it. But so the show went good. Miniachi Theater. And by the way, Jason, the Miniachi is tied in with Aventura, tied in with Parker, tied in with Broward Center Performing Arts. So they kind of all own it. They own it or they run it. How does that work?
They manage the property.
They manage the property.
Yeah. They don't own them. I think they might own the Parker, but the other ones they just manage.
They manage. So for the people out there, let's talk a little bit about this. This is a good subject. So there's a lot of these promoters, and I'm going to give the simple version of it. So a promoter goes into a venue, a theater or a park and says, how much does it cost me for a day? Because I want to lease or rent this for a day and put on a show. It's going to cost you $15,000 for the day. What's that include? Includes the security, includes parking, includes concessions, it includes A, B, and C. Okay, so now I know I'm gonna have to pay X amount of dollars for that. Now I got to bring in the music, the bands, $2,000 for this, $3,000 for that, $2,000, $1,500. I bring in 4 or 5 bands. Now I charge a certain dollar amount at the door. I put on a big show. I have food, I have drink, and hopefully it's profitable. So that's how it goes with some of these promoters. It's a lot more to it, of course. But we were lucky enough to play Miniachi with South Florida Legends, and
that was your first
really
gig with the band, right?
It was first gig with that lineup. With this project, yes, we've all been playing the same shit for years, but it went pretty well. So kudos to all those folks out there. They're in these tribute bands because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. Remember that, billion-dollar business. Yeah. And the tribute business is not just here. It's not just America. It's all over, everywhere. Yep. You can go to Europe, London, South Africa, Canada. The tribute bands are all over because people can't afford $900 or $2,000 to go see the Rolling Stones, but you can pay $50 to go see maybe the Stones tribute band out the street. Right. So, other than that, what else you got going on? Anything good?
Just recording all week. Working on new stuff.
Tell me what you're recording. Like, are you recording your own stuff?
Yeah, most of it this week is for our sync band, McNulty's Fire, right, which we're going to be rebranding shortly. And, it took us about a year of building up a library and getting it going to kind of find our sound and our brand. And we do that through Peer Music worldwide. And so we're just continuing to work on songs and get ready to rebrand the
but
band.
that's your stuff.
Yep.
Are you doing any other as of today? Are there any other projects that you're working on that you want to share, or not really at this point?
No, I have I have several songwriting students that I'm working on, individual songs with them. Like we may work on a song, maybe 2 or 3 songs, and then now those 2 or 3, they'll pick one they actually want to do a full production on. So I have 2 of those songs going on at the moment. And then I have 2 other people that they're doing 10-song projects. So that'll go on for the course of probably 3 or 4 months with each of them.
And you also have the acoustic thing. How's the acoustic thing going? Are you moving forward on it?
We're rocking, man. Rehearsal tomorrow. Myself, my brother, Big Red, and Scott Avery doing a new unplugged acoustic.
Did you come up with the
thing.
name of the band?
I was keep thinking about it. You and I were talking about, do we call it our last name so the people we know who it is, or we just come up with something new? Broken Roads. I don't know. Not sure yet.
I like that. Kind of cool.
Broken Roads.
There you go. Sometimes it's spitting it out. Kind of like that song you did last week.
We're excited though. I think it's going to be fun, and we're kind of gearing it more songs from the 70s that everybody knows and you can sing along.
Give me one. Just strum a note. Any song. Just and don't do the Eric Clapton. Do something else.
Oh no.
Give me something. I like that already.
Seems I've got to have a change in scene.
I'm doing a good myself.
Every night I get the strangest dream. Imprisoned by the way. Should have been.
I'm good myself.
Let me on my.
I like it.
So songs that everybody in the place is going to know.
All right, good. So if anybody has a suggestion for a name,
more songs to do acoustically.
Well, no, you got the song part down. That too. But if you have a suggestion on maybe a song, band name. Band name.
There you go.
Leave it below in the comment. And if we use it, you'll get a $10,000 cash prize. 10,000.
In Monopoly money.
You laughing is not helping this whole thing, dude. I'm trying to get subscribers here, buddy. $10,000 cash if we use that name. So
there you go.
Below.
We should do a song about subscribing.
Subscribing?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Now, are you going to start the lyric and then I'll jump on it?
70s.
I like it already.
Don't be shy. Just subscribe. Me oh my. Yeah, that's why. We need you to subscribe.
I got one.
So don't be shy.
Alrighty.
Don't be shy.
All right. Please subscribe.
Subscribe.
I'll punch you in the eye. Oh, come on, D. You gotta hold on. Subscribe. Or I'll make you cry.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get subscribers. Don't be a whiner.
Be a grinder.
Oh. See? You realize what he's doing, right? You realize I gave him a verse, right? I didn't step on it, right? And as soon as the typical songwriter,
you
dude,
just inspired me, man. It was like I.
So that was inspiration for you to just spit right on top of my line. All right, that's fine.
A little bit.
So anyway, before we go to break, I want to ask Jason Sedowy, what you got so much going on. Tell me a little bit about the shows you just maybe did in the last few days, 5 days.
The last 48 hours.
Right. Well, I don't have
just name drop.
Today, but,
just name drop a couple.
The last show that I did was actually a ballet for this Russian company.
Okay, we don't like the Russians. What about before that?
Before that, I worked Eaglemania. Have you ever heard
Eaglemania. So that's the Eagles tribute band, I'm assuming.
Eagles tribute band.
Okay, what about before that?
Before that, I worked.
You did the Queen thing.
I did the Queen thing. Yeah,
that was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is any of those shows, like I know that you see so many shows in what you do, is there something in the last few weeks that just gave you the wow, holy shit, was that amazing?
You did Pat Travers too, right?
Sad to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did. Actually, that was probably the best show that
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah, the last best show that I've seen.
Pat Travers.
Pat Travers, and who opened for him? It was another like guitar monster. I'm trying to remember his name. He sings that song, drinking whiskey or smoking whiskey, drinking cocaine.
No, that's Pat Travers.
Pat Travers.
Yeah.
Oh, so he opened for.
Oh, Travers opened for someone?
Travers opened
Oh, I know who it was.
your buddy. We were just talking about.
Not Eric Johnson.
No.
It wasn't Pat Metheny. It was. I know. Hold on.
You were trying to get him on the podcast around that time.
It was Johnny
Dave
Samatoro.
Dave Mason.
Dave Mason.
Yeah, Dave
There you go.
Dave Mason. Yes.
Anyway, Jason, glad to have Jason.
Yes.
Keith Ridenour, not Randy. Here we are once again. We got Steve Gordon coming
on
in a little bit, and
Yep.
we're looking forward to having him. And we are tuned into the Pat McAfee show behind you, and this is good. So we got good energy going.
We're rocking.
And the Heat are in the playoffs.
We'll see
We
you.
love our Heat. We love our South Florida teams. Stick around, everybody.
We'll be right back.
Woo! Dude, you got to bring in a little jam.
All right.
Just a little blues jam. Let me know when you're ready, brother. Welcome, everybody. Back to Sound Check. Here we are, Sound Check with Ridenour and Robinette, with my friend, producer, engineer, Jason Sedoui. And today's guest, we could not be any more excited. Oh my God! We have the producer, engineer, songwriter, session guy, Grammy award-winning rock star guitar player from the Private Stock Band as well, 27 years. Everybody put your hands together for Steve Gordon. Yay!
Hey! What's up, buddy?
Everything's
How you
good.
doing, man?
Steve Gordon is here. I can't be any more excited. We've had so many great people on here, but this is the icing on our cake. Steve, I love you and thank you so much for being here. I know Steve. I guess he doesn't know me, but I know of him from back, I want to say 80. I don't know, let's see, I would say realistically, I probably did Agora Ballroom. I want to say early 80s. I was maybe 84, 85. That sound about a rough idea? 83, 84, 85. We were still in
I
Wolfgang
actually
back
met
then.
you before that, I think. Then.
And he was rocking. He had the fro. He had the long hair.
SG.
And
He was playing the SG.
He played in the
I
SG.
still have that.
Yeah.
He was shredding up.
Yeah.
Steve, so many people have texted me. We know so many of the same people. We'll get into that later. Of course, your partner in business for many, many years and your boss, Eric. I spoke to him a little bit and told him that you were coming over to do this podcast. We're going to start from the beginning because people see you play all the time, and they've been seeing you play for years. I mean, all over the country. You guys even go out of the country. You've been to Hawaii. You've been, I don't know, South America. I don't even know so many countries you guys been to. I think you also, did you play in, do you guys do anything in London or Europe or no? No, I don't think you went to Europe.
No,
I follow you guys.
I played Europe with Betty Wright.
Where's the furthest you went with Private Stock Band? Just so curious. Hawaii?
Yeah, I think Hawaii.
Hawaii. So
That's a
people
quiz.
have asked me, because they see you play, and I was telling Keith this before you got here, that when people see people on stage, they don't know the backstory. They have no idea. You're over there strumming guitar. I mean, they know you're a great guitar player. They have no idea, and now they're gonna know.
That's the interesting thing about coming on.
They see Eric
we
out
hear the
front jumping
backstory.
around. They see the golden voice of Christine Smith. They don't know that the rock star of Rockstar is playing guitar. So we're going to start from the beginning. So tell us a little bit about, to start right away, where you're from originally
How'd you get here?
and how'd you get here?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, East Flatbush. Actually, I went to high school with Al Sharpton.
No shit.
Yeah, and Willie Randolph from the New York Yankees.
Ah, cool.
They were both in my class.
What high school was it?
I played stickball with them.
What high school was it?
Tilden High School.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did you live there? Did you live through your childhood?
Yeah. Well, from 0 age to I left when I was about 19.
Did you pick up the guitar while you were there, or did you pick up the guitar after?
No. I picked up the guitar because I sat in the kitchen watching the Ed Sullivan Show, the Beatles with my mother and my grandmother, and I go, oh God,
Yeah.
this is it.
How many people got started because of that performance?
Yeah.
Everybody. David Grohl. I mean, I've heard of thousands.
Yes, it's true.
Everybody.
Steve Lukather, everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
So when you saw that, it's something you wanted to do, and how did that happen? How did it come to fruition? Was it mom or dad? Did you say?
No, it was just my instinct. I just said I like that, and actually, my mother went out and bought the "I Want to Hold Your Hand" and "She Loves You" 45.
She get you a guitar to go along with it?
No. She about a week later, she brought those two records home with a little record player, and so and I had my own way of listening. And then I said to my father, I wanted to be a drummer. So he got me a drum set, and that lasted about a month. My mother goes, no more, I can't take it. So then I was in our garage. There happened to be a guitar in the garage, an acoustic guitar. And I brought it up to the house, and I said, oh, Dad, I found this in the garage. What is this? He goes, oh, it's a friend of mine's. And I said, is he coming back for it? He goes, I don't know. So I said, well, if he doesn't, I'm using it. And then I just started figuring out.
Started what? Tell me how it started. Did you get the Mel Bay?
No, I never took lessons.
To this day?
No, I just wanted to be a rock player. It was rock.
Yeah.
And
no kidding.
it was rock, yeah. And that was, you were able to go to the Fillmore East to see concerts because I was in New York. So I went to Greenwich Village with friends. My first concert was Santana, and when I saw that at the Fillmore East, it was
Your
like, wow, electric
concert
guitar.
was Santana.
That was my first concert.
What year around? Late 70s?
Well, I'm born in '54, and I was probably, that concert was probably
early 70s, right?
Yeah, I was probably 15.
Wasn't Santana playing an SG back then, too?
Yes.
I knew it. Yeah.
Yes, the same guitar I have with the soap bar pickups.
Yeah.
Was that Neil Schon era by any chance, or?
No, he came in a little after that.
A little bit.
This is the very beginning of Santana.
Yeah,
Fillmore
man,
East.
that was your
Greg
first
Rowley.
concert at
Yes.
Fillmore
Michael
East?
Shreve.
Yes, all those guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. So you picked up the guitar, you started playing, you started getting some influences. You played band, a cover band eventually?
I started a band. My friend Eddie became the bass player, and my Italian friend Sal Capizucca.
See?
Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go.
all Jews and Italians where I'm from.
Yeah.
And mafia neighborhood.
Yeah.
So Sal was the drummer, and my friend Dave Rudbarg was the singer, and we started writing originals.
No kidding.
Yeah, rock originals. Yeah, and we even I don't know how I met the guy, but I met when Billy Joel first got signed. He signed with a company. I might have been Paramount or something, but I accidentally met the guy who signed Billy Joel, and he came to Sal's basement to hear our band. And the sad part about it is he loved the band, but he goes, you got to get rid of the singer. And we're all best friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't think of business then, you think of friendship. So, and I said, we can't do that.
Can't do that.
So that crumbled. And actually, it took me about 3 days to tell Dave the truth. He was my friend. Yeah. And I told him, and he actually quit music for 20 or 30 years. And he sings again, but he said it affected him bad.
Wow.
So there you are in the basement. You're writing songs with your friends.
Yeah.
You might be how old at that point? Are you at high school already?
15, 16.
15, 16. So you're in a cover. Eventually, you got to be in a cover band here somewhere, right? You started hustling, making some money, or how did that work?
Well, Sal, the drummer, was doing weddings with an old Italian guy, kind of like we do now, right? With private stock.
Yeah.
So Sal goes, hey, Ovi, my nickname was Ovi. He goes, Ovi, I want you to meet Phil. His name was Phil. It was called the Phil Simms Orchestra.
Yeah.
He goes, I want you to play weddings with us. I go, how much can I make? Now, you got to remember, this is a long time ago. He goes, 300. I said, really? So every week I played a wedding for $300 on
Yeah.
a Saturday.
What kind of
Yeah.
music? Just dance music, old
No, he
disco?
wanted me to play he had to do Johnny Be Good.
Right.
I had to do Johnny Be Good and a few Beatles songs. And I had to sing them. And I'm not a singer.
Right.
And other than that, if I didn't know what Phil was playing, just fake it.
Yeah. What key are we in? Hit the root note.
Isn't that great, man?
Wow.
This is how it happens. So now you're playing in the wedding band.
Yeah.
How did you end up coming here to Florida? Was it on vacation? Did you come here with the parents?
I graduated from high school and I looked in the Village Voice newspaper as David
The
Spitz
Village
did.
Voice, right?
The Village Voice. It's anything you want to know about what's going on in New York
Right.
Yeah.
with bands,
Yeah.
movies, art. Kiss was auditioning lead guitar players. I actually took my guitar, went to a recording studio in Manhattan. I walk in and I say, I'm here for the Kiss auditions for the lead guitar. And the receptionist says to me, oh, I'm sorry, they ended yesterday. I said, but the ad is still in the paper. She goes, yeah, I know, but they finished yesterday.
What year was that around? Because I just
72.
I just got listened to the entire Paul Stanley audio book, and
the summer of 72, and they came out in 73.
Yeah.
wow,
So-
man, and he talks about that in the.
So if I would have been in Kiss,
We wouldn't have
I'd
had
be
you on
worth $300 million
Yeah.
and retired.
Right. And we wouldn't have been able to get you on the podcast.
And I can't imagine there was a huge line of guitar players auditioning because they weren't even famous yet. They were making noise because they started making noise in that area.
Yeah.
Because according to the book is very
Yeah,
specific.
1972.
1972. And then how do you end up here in Florida?
I got a little sick of New York. It's like I wanted to change. And when I was about 16 years old, me, Sal, and Frankie Colaswano, who was a friend of ours who wasn't a musician, his father owned an Italian restaurant, the most popular Italian restaurant in our neighborhood, owned a house in Golden Isles,
Which is where? Miami?
Hallandale.
Hallandale, yeah.
Oh, like
On
a summer
the
house?
water.
Like a summer house.
Yes, so about 8 of us friends, Jews and Italians,
Yeah.
when we were 16, went to Frankie Colaswano's parents' house and when I
I
saw
can't even say that name.
when I saw Miami and Fort Lauderdale, I go, holy shit, the weather,
Right.
this is paradise. Like, imagine waking up and like, I say, I wake up in Brooklyn.
Same thing Sharon said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if,
Yeah.
like, I said, like, wow, Brooklyn's ugly.
Right.
This is beautiful.
So you fell in love with it,
yes.
and you were just a kid.
Yes. So after I graduated, when I didn't get the Kiss audition, but obviously because they already picked somebody, I ran away from home. I didn't even tell my mother I was coming. I left, and she didn't believe me when I got here.
Really?
Yes, because I called her when I got here, and I said, Mom, I'm not coming home tonight. She goes, why? She goes, I said, I'm in Florida. She goes, what are you doing there? I said, I like it here. I just want to see what I
How
can
did
do
you get
here.
here?
I got on a plane. I took about $500 and that's all I had. And I left.
And you didn't go back?
No, my mother said, you're at Eddie's house. She said, come home. I said, no, I'm not at Eddie's house. I'm in Florida. She goes, are you kidding
Oh
me?
my God.
And she says, are you okay? I go, yeah, I'm okay.
And that's where, and then you came here.
I came here.
Now you're at, what, Golden Isle, was it?
No, that was a vacation when I was, when I was 15.
Where did you go when you came down?
A friend of mine was dating a girl and their family moved to Miami. So he left Brooklyn and he got an apartment. And I said, can I stay with you until I find a place? So I stayed at this guy's house.
Did you get a job? You remember what your first job was down here?
I didn't have a job.
You had to get a job eventually, right?
Right. So I walked into Big Daddy's in Miami Shores, and this guy named Augie Bucci and,
I know
Augie Bucci,
Augie.
holy
and,
shit.
and Harry Han were playing. Right, I don't know who they
Oh
are.
my God. They're still around, you know.
Yes, I know. So I was a cocky kid then, and I walked up to the band. I said, hey, hey, I'm Mike here from New York. I play guitar. Can I sit in with your band? And they go, sure. What do you want to play? I said, how about Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo? How about Superstition? And they go, all right, yeah. So I played. I got off the stage and I sat at the bar and I'm having a beer, and Harry Hand walks over to me and goes, hey, I really like the way you play. I mean, who are you? I've never seen you before. I go, yeah, I ran away from home and I'm here.
Oh, that is great.
And I said, I didn't run away because I got a problem with my parents. I ran away because I just wanted to get away from New York.
Right.
He goes, listen, I'm quitting this band. You want to start a band? I said, really? He goes, we'll do a 3-piece like The Who, Jimi Hendrix. You play guitar. Now, he was the guitar player in the band. He goes, he'll play bass, I'll play guitar, and we'll get a drummer. So we got a drummer. His name was Don Joy from the University of Miami. We found him. We rehearsed for 4 weeks. Our first gig was Hunter's Lounge, Miami Springs. 3 straight months. Harry, when it comes to gigs, Harry got the gigs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know him too, but
Right.
so I worked with Harry Hand for 3 years.
How old are you at this point? You still in your teen
20s.
years?
I'm probably about 20.
Okay, so now we're moving along. So that's your first cover band, Harry Hand. So you played with them for a few years,
Right.
Now you're kind of established.
And we got fired because of me.
Oh no!
We went to this club and they go, I got to get rid of you guys. The guitar player is too loud. Now, let me tell you, this is in the days where you didn't use a distortion pedal. You cranked your amp up to 10.
Right.
So if you wanted the great sound,
Right.
it had to be loud. And the same club that we played in at first said, I can't take it anymore. And they were fine with it in the beginning, but
Right.
so now I'm without a job. Then I meet Larry Hurt. You know Larry Hurt?
Hurt.
Yeah.
Larry Hurt died about
Not too long ago.
Yes, he was a drummer.
Yeah.
Larry Hurt.
I met Larry Hurt. And Larry Hurt, we got along great. And he used to call me Spuds. So he goes, Spuds, I'm going to let you sleep. I'm renting a room in a friend's place, but I'm going to let you sleep on the couch. So I slept on their couch. And then me and Larry started a band, and we ended up playing in the Keys as a house band Wednesday through Saturday.
What was the name of that band?
First Avenue.
First Avenue. So now you're in your early 20s, playing with Larry in a covered band down in the Keys. Let's keep moving forward. What's your next band you run into? Where does Wolfgang come into the picture? Early 20s?
Wolfgang comes in about 4 years later. I knew the drummer Ronnie Taylor, and Brooks was the bass player.
I know. Yeah.
Brooks.
Brooks Reed. Brooks was,
Yes,
Yeah.
I know that
Great
name.
singer.
and now you got to remember, Wolfgang started out as a disco band
Yep.
at the Brasserie in Miami Springs.
And you played the back room at the Playpen for a while too, right?
Right, but I wasn't in the disco. Wayne Hood was
Wayne
the guitar.
that's right.
Wayne was the first guitar. Wayne basically started the band with
That's
somebody
when
else.
I first met Wayne. He was in that band. You guys had the jackets.
Yeah, some old dogs.
I wasn't in the
boy.
band.
Right.
Okay, so after the disco version of Wolfgang broke up, Ronnie and Brooks started a rock band. I don't know who the guitar player was. The guitar player actually lived with Morris Cowling, the bass player from Pat Travers.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I get a call from Ronnie one day, and he goes, Steve, I want you to be in this band. And I said, well, what is it? He goes, I said, you guys probably play dance music and funk and all that. I go, I like playing rock, you know. And he goes, no, we're playing rock. So they had this like house gig at Dino's in Homestead. Like that gig would last 4 months at a time.
Right.
The money was great, 4 months at a time. So I got in that band.
Let me ask you something. This whole time with all these other bands, was that all you were doing?
No.
Did you ever have like a day thing washing dishes or?
No. I knew that I wanted to play on records. And I knew that in North Miami, Criteria Recording Studios was the place where they did Layla, they did the Eagles.
Eagles stuff.
I mean, Hotel California was done in Miami.
Yeah.
It wasn't done in California.
Allman
Right.
Brothers,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Joe Walsh,
yeah.
Clapton, yep.
Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
So
Crosby, Stills,
I was
Nash.
a little, yes.
Yeah.
So I found out the names of the two engineers, and I know Tom Dowd was the producer. And I was like, at that age, I had like a little cockiness to me. Like I knew I was good. I didn't think I was great, but I knew that I was good enough to play on records. I actually walked into Criteria and I said, "Can I speak to Ron and Howard Albert?" And they go,
And who are they?
"They are the engineers of Layla,
The engineers. Okay, the engineers.
Crosby,
That's what I wanna
Stills,
get
and
to,
Nash and
right, okay.
Young, Rocky Mountain Way, Joe Walsh's album, Crosby, Stills, and
So
Nash."
what year is this?
And they
Around
were the
the
producers.
70s?
They were the producers of Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yeah.
Ah.
And I said, and so Ron comes out, and I never met these people. And he goes, "Hi, how can I help you?" I go, "Listen, I'm a guitar player from New York, and I'd like to play guitar on records that you guys make." And he says to me, "Well, why should I hire you?" And I said, "Because I'm good." And he goes, and then he says to me, he goes, "Do you write songs?" And I go, "I didn't, but I lied." And I go, "Yes." He goes, "Well, what kind do you have any that you can give me now?" I go, "No." And I said, "Well, what are you looking for?" Believe it or not, he goes, "We're looking for songs that are like, 'You Sexy Thing.' I believe in miracles."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "But you guys do Eric Clapton, Joe Walsh." I said, "I'm a rock guy." And they go, "Well, you want to make some real money? Get on the Billboard Top 40. I said, but I said, Eric Clapton and Joe Walsh, that's big money too." They said, "Listen, come back with some songs when you got them." So I bought a TAC 3340 4-track, and we were playing in the keys, and I was writing songs, and I would make demos of these songs. And I was writing funk rock songs. So I went back, and he goes, I went back about actually 9 months later. Ron comes out, Criteria, and he goes, "Well, what do you got?" I got a few things on cassette. It was the cassette days.
Yeah.
So I play it for him, and he goes, "Pretty good, but the singing is pretty bad." I didn't sing. I had somebody else sing it, and he wasn't so good. He goes, "Listen, you've got a shot. Come back again." So I got pretty frustrated. So then we get to the era where, you got Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey are coming out, right? And I like that stuff. I know it's kind of sappy, and I'm a rock guy. I'm Led Zeppelin, Jeff Beck, Jimi Hendrix, Frank Zappa. But there's something about like these beautiful Fender Rhodes beginnings.
Right.
So I wrote a few songs that were like Whitney Houston. So I go back, and now they had left Criteria and started Audiovision.
Right. That's where I knew them.
With Steve Alamo. Now, Steve Alamo was the vice president of TK. So I walk in, and I have about 5 songs with me, and they're all sappy ballads. And this is where my life changes. So Ron goes, "This is my partner, Steve Alamo. He's responsible for Bobby Caldwell, What You Won't Do for Love." There would be no Bobby Caldwell if there wasn't a Steve Alamo. Betty Wright, Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Right.
And so he goes, "Play Steve your songs." I go in Steve's office. He closes the door. He goes, "Hey, nice to meet you. How you doing?" I go, "Yeah, nice." He goes, "What do you got? Put it on." So I put on this first song that I thought was my best. It's called "You're All My Eyes Can See." I mean, it sounded, even the girls singing, it sounded like Whitney Houston. Forget about it, but it's the song. It's not the singer.
Right.
So after about 10 seconds, he goes, "Turn that off." I go, "Oh, shit." He goes, "You now work for me." I go, "What do you mean I now work for you?" He goes, "I'm giving you the keys to this studio. When nobody's in here, you come in and record to your heart's content.
Wow.
You get a hit, we get a piece."
Whoa.
I went in, this is no exaggeration. Sometimes, this studio was booked every day, mostly during the daytime. So I was able to go in there pretty much by myself at least 3 days a week from 12 midnight till 7 in the morning. I did that for about 8 straight years. And I got a few hits, dance hits, in the freestyle thing. I had a hit with a girl, she was 16 years old. The song was called I Want You. It was on the Billboard Top 40.
Dude, I remember being at the studio down there, walking through and seeing the record on the wall. Who was I there with?
I Want You was on the wall there.
Well, there was some. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Betty Wright was on the wall.
Yeah, Betty Wright. I ended up playing guitar for her too.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought it was the other one.
So back to
8 years.
Yes, and I had a few hits. I ended up. I produced one of the girls from Expose. And Ish Ledesma was working at it too, and he had a few groups.
I remember Ish.
Well, let me ask you. I got to interrupt you though, because it's going a little too fast. So when you get that gig, it's not a salary gig. They're not giving you money to record.
The studio thing.
They're giving you the opportunity to write and create in this studio where tons of artists have either come in and come out.
Yes,
and during that time, you're also gigging because you got to make money.
I was gigging. I was playing in Wolfgang.
You were playing in Wolfgang at that time.
Yeah.
So now, are you down in South Miami? That's where the studio is, right?
No, it's North Miami.
It's North Miami.
Right around the corner.
So Miami Gardens pretty much been your home.
But besides me letting me use the studio when no one's in there making tracks or writing songs,
right?
They would have acts come in there that needed a guitar player. Like I did a thing with Stephen Stills. I did a little thing with Zakk Wylde. I did a thing with Benny Mardones. People would come in and
talk about.
So you end up kind of being a session guy.
I did a whole album with Dion, and he put my picture in the album with him. He called me the champion, and I go, "Why are you calling me the champion?" He goes, "Because you're a one take." Like,
yeah.
But let me tell you, recording with Dion was funny because he'd sit on the couch and we ate pizza for lunch every time. He'd order. He's an Italian from New York too.
Yeah.
Oh, one day he says to me, we're sitting eating, and he goes, "You know why I'm still here?"
Pizza.
No.
Oh.
No, because he was everyone that went on the plane died.
Right.
Buddy Holly,
Right.
all that. And he just comes out and he goes, "You know why I'm here?" And I'm thinking, oh shit, he's going crazy. I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because my wife said, don't you dare get on that plane. We need the money for the rent."
Wow.
And he's still going.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Right? Wayne just played with him.
Wayne produces with Dion.
Still going. So he's got to be what, 70, 80 years old?
No, he's over 80.
Yeah, he's 80 something.
Yeah, I saw
so
him.
So now you're there for years. You're doing a bunch of session stuff. I'm just curious. Did you ever get compensated for any of that session stuff, or you just did it because
Yes. So what happened was, this is in the Criteria days too. So I met a guy named Alex Satkin. Alex Satkin, he died. He's not alive now. But Alex did all the Bob Marley records in Miami when Bob didn't do stuff in his studio. So Alex also produced Foreigner 4, Duran Duran. He loved me. He would bring me in, he'd say, "Steve, I have this guitar player. I don't like what he did. Can you come in at 1 a.m. and redo it?" Yes, I did a lot of that. If a lot of producers didn't like something that they already did and they couldn't get the guy back, or they knew that they wanted to try something different, I would get a call. That's how I played. I played for Bon Jovi. That was at International Sound.
Oh,
Barry Mraz. Barry did Benny Mardones, Styx, Jimmy Fallon gave you that.
And how did that? What do you, when you say you played? You did some overdubbing, some
second
guitar parts?
I redid Richie Sambora's guitar parts on a whole song.
On a whole song.
On a whole song.
A song that they ever actually recorded. Eventually went to album.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know when it was released, but it was actually, the song was written for Farm Aid. It's called Heart of America. Doc McGee was managing Bon Jovi, and Doc McGee also managed Barry.
And he had his office down there too, right?
Barry calls me.
Doc had an office down in that area too, didn't he?
Yeah. So Barry calls me and goes, I need you to bring a Marshall amp and a humbucker guitar, the International Sound, tomorrow night at 7:00. I go, why? I can't tell you until you get there.
Not.
So I walk in, I set my stuff up, and I sit down in the room, and he sits, and I go, what am I doing? He goes, you're playing on a Bon Jovi record. And I go, why? Richie Sambora is a monster. He's great. He goes, well, I went to Wisconsin when they did this session, and they recorded it in a studio. I don't know why, but the guitar parts that Richie did were like out of tune, sloppy, and Doc and me don't like them. We need you to do them over again. So I did them over again.
Wow.
And he goes, but there's one catch. Your name is not going on the record.
Yeah, I knew that's always going to happen. But that is normal for a lot of session guys.
I've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
What's his name from Toto said the same thing on his on the documentary.
Yeah.
He goes, I've been on tons of albums. They never give me credit for nothing. And you also, see, I'm always curious back in that day.
And I have a witness. I have a witness that I did that.
Yes.
I ran into, at a gig at the Hard Rock, the assistant engineer for Barry Mraz that watched me do the session. And he walked up to me at the Hard Rock and he goes, are you Steve Gordon? I go, yeah, why? Who are you? He goes, I'm Mark, I think it's Mark Spitz or something. Mark, I forget his name. Something like that. He goes, I was the assistant engineer for Barry when you did the Bon Jovi session. I go, shit, I lost my only cassette of that. He goes, guess what? I go, what? He goes, when International Sound closed, I took the tapes.
Wow.
And he goes, do you want me to send you a copy of the 24-track tapes? I said, on Pro Tools? He goes, yeah. I wake up the next morning and I'm just looking at my email.
There it is.
There it is.
He sent me the fucking 20.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. You get that bomb.
He sent me the tapes.
Wow. Yeah, I have. When I lived in Nashville, that happened a lot. A lot of guys would play on stuff. My first cut I ever had in Nashville, I was on. They used my guitar parts for the record, and they couldn't because I didn't get paid for it. So they couldn't put. They spent special thanks to Keith Ridenour and Anthony Little because they used all our parts from the demo.
Oh, okay.
And they couldn't.
Yeah, so
we weren't part of the union or anything. And I guess I don't know whatever their guitar player played the parts. I don't know. They didn't like it. Whatever it was.
Okay.
They kept the original guitar parts from the original demo, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't put your name."
Yeah,
on
they
there."
work. Michael Jackson did that all the time.
Yeah.
So you didn't. So you did that session. You did several sessions there. You were there for several years, and you did a whole bunch of cool stuff there while you were there. You wrote a bunch of songs. You actually wrote some songs that. Okay, so let's just so people know out there and they're listening. So in those 8 years you were there, besides all the session stuff you did, you actually wrote or were co-writer on certain songs that eventually were on the radio, or did you ever get any royalties? Did you ever see any royalties in those 8 years? I say the word royalties. Did you ever make any money?
Yes, I mean, like on the dance hit, it was big.
Okay, so the dancing, I Want You, was it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even talk about that because it's like I only did that just to do it. It's like that's not.
Dude, that's huge,
like,
man. There's people out there.
I know it's huge, but it's like, you know, like when people say like, "What have you done?" I don't bring that up.
Okay, so you
but
know
it's
what?
one of the ones you probably made the most money on.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so you're there 8 years. So what happens after that 8 years?
But I still make royalties on all the guitar sessions. Like what? Another thing that happened with the guitar sessions was Alex Satkin and a lot of people at Criteria and producers that I met, the guys that came from LA, would call me, and I would go to Criteria like at all hours of the day. I mean, like I went there. I went to International Sound. I went to the place closed in Fort Lauderdale. I was making my rounds, and like, so when CDs stopped selling and you had to figure out a way, well, you know, how are you going to make money in royalties? So this local singer, Tommy, who's a great friend of mine, said to me one day, Stevie, you've done a ton of recording sessions. Are you collecting your royalties on these songs that you played guitar on. And I go, no, do you know how to do it? And he goes, yeah, I'm friends with Ed Kaye, and he told me how to do it. So she goes, there's an organization in Spain, which is the biggest organization for session musicians in the world.
Wow.
They collect your royalties on all the records you've played. So she goes, but to join, you have to get an invite. And she goes, she's a member, so I'm going to give you the invite. So I joined, and I'm thinking, all right, so I'm going to make a little bit of money.
Right.
So they're in a position where they figure out what your repertoire was, and they send you your repertoire, and I gave you a piece of paper like Frank Sinatra, Celine Dion.
So on these, this is where you hook up with this.
Yes.
Tommy, who I know, Tommy, been around forever. She gives you this insight to this company.
And I joined this company.
You joined the company. How many years ago is this?
This was
recently?
right before COVID, maybe 3 months.
Right before COVID.
So the beginning of 2020.
You get an introductory to this company. You sign up with them. And then do they call you?
No.
Or did they just email you and say, hey, by the way?
They give you an application, and they're hooked up to conductors. They're hooked up to conductors, producers, and they find songs that you've played on that maybe you don't even know you're on. Like I didn't know I was on a lot of this stuff. And like sometimes I question, am I really on it? So if you look at some of those songs.
So the people understand that, so we don't go too fast, because we have all walks of life watching this. So over the years, when you would do like a certain little part and not sure like whatever happened from that. In other words, you didn't follow it up. It might have been on a record, might not been on a record. Maybe it made the cut, maybe it didn't. Maybe they bring in another guitar player, washed your parts out. You don't even know shit, period. And now, because of this company, they can go back, put your name in, and see actually where you were involved in, where you had a credit for.
They'll probably check the credits.
Yes, but not only that, I got so weird about it. Like I'm on like 4 Phil Collins records.
Right.
Josh Groban, somewhere out there, Linda Ronstadt, James Ingram.
Yeah, let's
read.
Frank Sinatra. I read something through this? Is that okay for you?
Read it.
Just for you folks who are out there who don't realize what's happening right now. There's some magic happening right now.
Magic.
This is serious South Florida music history right here. So this is pretty good stuff. So I'm not gonna name the album titles because there's too many of them. So Rod Stewart, James Ingram, Phil Collins, John Barry. Let's see, Phil Collins. Holy cow. Let's keep going. Josh Groban. We got some Hollywood studio stuff here. Regina Bell. Oh my God, it just keeps going on. Hans Zimmer. By the way, Hans Zimmer. Is that guy a rock star? Holy cow. Hans Zimmer, for you folks that don't know, almost 50% of the movies, sci-fi movies out there, Hans Zimmer is the conductor and music guy on that. Inner Circle. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. It just keeps going and going and going. More Inner Circle. Phyllis Hyman, Peter Brown. So what happens, Dr. John? Tell me, so once you receive this for the first time, you get that email. Let's continue
I called them and I said, is this for real? I said, I recognize some of it, but I don't recognize all of it. And the first thing the guy says to me is, so you've done a lot of sessions, obviously. And I go, yeah. He goes, did you play a lot of sessions where nobody was singing? I go, yeah. He goes, well, doesn't that explain it? I go, how does that explain it? He goes, well, maybe you played on a big record and you were reading a chart and no one was singing it. And the real artist sang it a week later.
So you don't know what the song actually is.
So you don't know what the song actually is.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
So you're playing a part or a section or maybe a lead part or a melody and you don't see the finished product. See, I would have never thought that.
And then I said, you've got Steve Gordon as the guitar player. I said, am I the only Steve Gordon and he goes, you're the only Steve Gordon that played these sessions in Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. You go, we don't know anybody else. So it has to be you. So I'm thinking, so then a few of my friends go, hey, even if it's not you, take the money and run.
so once you get hooked up with them, do you and you realize, is there back money owed?
Yes.
Do you have to get an attorney? Did you get an attorney involved?
No, I didn't need to. So then I was told by, I forget, it might have been Tommy. Tommy said, no, it wasn't Tommy. they said to me, your biggest check will probably be your first check from us within 9 to 12 months. And it was, wow.
No shit. That is great.
And I get paid on all these songs every month.
So,
now.
so God forbid they ever use
month.
them
for the rest of my life.
Ah. See, that's
So is that based on how often they're played?
Yeah, all those records
Yeah.
are playing every day.
played,
Yeah.
streamed, and God forbid one of them got on a commercial.
It's all about streaming now. It's not about sales,
right.
Yeah.
especially for a session guy.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody out there, we got Steve Gordon here. This is really exciting. We're going to take a really short, quick break, and we're going to come back in just a minute or so.
And
So
keep
once
rocking.
again, let's keep put a hand together for Steve Gordon. Be right
Yeah.
back. Stick around. Oh, this is getting good. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are. Podcast sound check with Ridenour and Robinette. That's Keith Ridenour. I'm Jim Robinette. This is Jason Sedowy, our producer. Jason, real quick, just stand up and stick your head right in the camera real quick. Just say hi. Just wave. That's Jason right there. And we're back with our friend, Steve Gordon. Once again, Steve Gordon. Steve Gordon, there's so much information that we received and that I received and the research that we've done. Unfortunately, we don't have 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So we're going to try to just move it forward. Since you this experience that you've had so far of all the recording, the sessions, now we found out, or you found out prior to COVID, that you're on all of this session stuff. How cool can that be? Thank God there's this company that came around and Tommy helped you out. Let's talk about some of the stuff that that's really got you to where you are today. We're gonna also talk about the little things, the specifics, and about the engineering aspect of it. But tell us a little bit about some of the records that you're on, either soundtracks, commercials. Tell us a little bit how that came to fruition.
All right, so this is a good story. So we all know Billy Levacy. So Billy Levacy calls me and he goes, "Do you have any old songs?" And I go, "Why?" He goes, "I just hooked up with a company out of Phoenix, Arizona, and all they do is get your songs into movies and TV. Major motion pictures, Netflix, HBO, all that stuff." And I said, "Well, have you gotten anything in?" He goes, "Yeah, they took about 20 songs from me." And he goes, "Do you have any?" And I go, "Yeah, I do." And actually, what was happening, the reason I had about 45 songs on cassettes,
Right.
put away. There was a period of time where a music attorney, David Berkeson, who represented Gloria Estefan, he would get me gigs producing people. And he would get, let's say, a mother would come in with her daughter
Right.
to his office and say, "My daughter sings. I want to make a record for her. You know, do you know who we can call?" So he'd call me. So we meet at the office. The money, we usually did about 3 songs. I'd write them. I have no idea if the girl could sing at all. Some sang great, some didn't sing great.
Right.
So I had about 45 songs from girls that I've written songs for, and all these were done in a major studio. So the production was it sounded like a Madonna record,
Right.
but not Madonna singing. It sounded like Jody Watley, but it wasn't Jody Watley. I mean, so the fidelity was great because I already knew how to make real records with fidelity that was world class. So I give Billy about 45 of these songs. He sends it to Phoenix, and the guy says, "I want 27 of the songs." I go, "Wow, great." And there was an advance at, I think you said,
500.
he gave me $500 advance for 27 songs in one check, which was great. And then he goes, and then he said to me, he goes, even though I'm taking these 27 songs, they're not going to get placed immediately. This takes time. He said, your 27 songs could take 8, 9, 10 years before we get them all placed. So he started placing them. So right now I have about 19 or 20 placed. The last really big ones were in the Denzel Washington movie, The Little Things. I got a song in there.
Which I just saw, not even a week ago.
The Little Things, yeah. So I have a song in there. 80 for Brady. Not only is my song in the movie, it's on the soundtrack. A bunch of Netflix stuff.
So you're getting the 500 or so per song as an advance.
Right.
And then once they place them, is it a sync fee at that point?
No, here's the deal. The deal with this company is, well, first of all, the only way they'll make the deal with you is if they take all of the publishing.
Right.
So,
you just get the writer's
right.
share.
So I wrote the songs alone, so I'm 100%.
You're golden.
So I give them 100% publishing. I'm 100% writer. So I noticed now that I've got these 20 songs placed, when I get my BMI check, the difference now between before this is astronomical.
Right.
So,
because you're the sole writer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for the people out there, realize there's these companies. You write tons of songs. They hear the song. They want them. They'll pay you for it. They want the publishing, and then you get a piece of the writing if there's a that they play them or get picked up by a commercial or a movie.
Right. But the big catch with this company is they don't want new songs. And I asked them, I said, why is it that you don't want songs that are new? And the example they gave me, let's say we're doing a documentary on John F. Kennedy and it's 1963.
Right.
Can we play a song that sounds like Madonna? No, we can't.
It's a period piece. You know?
It's a period
it needs
piece.
to sound, if the scene is in, let's say, a delicatessen in New York City in 1963 or Dallas, you want the music of that era to sound like true.
So if you don't mind me asking, this is the coolest part. Basically, you get checks almost every day or checks weekly. You get checks from different
every month.
Every month you get a check. Yeah. So it's pretty cool when I think about, I don't even know this is not really relevant to this, but songwriting alone, there's so many songwriters all over the world. And if you write that right song that someone wants to hear or grabs onto,
it helps your retirement fund.
It sure does.
It's mailbox money.
There was a story. Somebody said they wrote a song. It took them 5 minutes to write it and bought them a house. I forgot it was some documentary, but if it hits, it hits.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
The very first gold record I played on was 1977. Mm-hmm. The artist was Peter Brown. Do You Want to Get Funky with Me? Now, I'm not bringing that up. I'm not going to talk about that song. He wrote Madonna's Material World.
No kidding.
Right.
Peter Brown.
Peter Brown wrote Material World, and Madonna recorded it. And,
He was a single writer?
Yes.
Yeah, so just off the back then, just off the publishing.
No, he wrote it with somebody.
Well, even still, they had just off the pub alone, right out of the gate, they split $1 million, I'm sure.
And he also, Madonna's manager, Freddie DeMann, started managing Peter, but then Freddie actually went out of business. But Freddie DeMann was the manager at the same time for Madonna, Peter Brown, and Michael Jackson.
Whoa. Yeah.
So now that moving along, you got this going, you got that going, your songs have been placed. Thanks to Billy helping you out with this company, I suppose. Tell people, because I know a lot of the backstory, because I talk to you every once in a while. You're kind enough to pick up the phone when I call you. There's so many people that I speak to locally that you've helped out as well. I mean, even the little people.
I have a
well, let's talk about, well, I don't want to go that way, but I don't mean to interrupt you. Tell people how, like you've been working on these big records the last decade, or let's not go too far back. Let's just go to the last decade. When they want to work with you, how does it work? Like, do they send you, let's just say Prince, I know there's Prince or whoever, let's drop me a few names there. There's so many names.
Regina Bell.
Okay, Regina Bell. Let's say they want you to work on something. Do they send you a file via email and you'll work the drum track and send it back to them? Or you'll work the guitars and send it back, or horns?
Okay,
how does it work?
The difference, Regina Bell, I do all of her mixing.
So the whole mix.
I do all the mixing.
Not mastering.
No, she masters.
So they send you all the files.
Right.
Good.
But in the other way where you're talking, I did Natalie Cole. How I did Natalie Cole was the very first drummer that I grew up with, his name was Ruben Rodriguez. When I was 14 years old, he was the drummer. He's Puerto Rican, and he lived in what they call the projects. And we went to school together. So when we graduated high school, he ended up being a promotion guy for Casablanca Records. So his first gig was Stevie Wonder and Donna Summer. He ended up being vice president under Tommy Mottola for black music. He became my manager for mixing. So,
So a mixer needs a manager.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
if you want the big gigs.
yeah.
So how long's he been with you?
Well, he died.
How long was he with
Rest
you?
in peace, Ruben. Well, when we graduated high school, remember, he stayed in New York and I ran away from home. You know how I found him again? I ended up playing guitar at Criteria for Chris Walker, who Chris was the music director and bass player for Al Jarreau. So Chris, I played on 4 songs on his album, and the producer was Nick Martinelli. Nick Martinelli did a lot of black records. I've played on a lot of black records. So I hear Nick Martinelli on the phone going, Ruben, 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 Ruben. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. And he gets off the phone and I go, Nick, what's the guy? You're talking to some guy named Ruben. Now, you're going to remember.
Years ago.
You understand the story. What's his last name? And he goes, Rodriguez. I go, is he Puerto Rican? He goes, yes. I go, we grew up together. And he was my first drummer. I said, can you please call him? So he called. I hadn't seen him in 15, 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So Ruben, and I go, and Ruben answers the phone. He goes, Nick, what can I, what? I go, Ruben, it's Ovi. Ovi, where have you been? I go, I'm in Miami. I'm playing on Chris Walker's record. It was on Ruben's record company.
That's cool.
Oh my
That's
God.
cool. Yeah, there's a sign.
So that started Ruben managing me. And the first big gig he got me was I produced Natalie Cole. But I didn't I didn't produce her from scratch. What happened was Ruben was a record promotion man for Sony, Columbia, and anybody that would hire him.
Right.
He's responsible for Earth, Wind, and Fire, George Michael. So anyway, Ruben says, we got this Natalie Cole song. I want to get it on black radio, but it sounds too white. And I said, so what do you want me to do? He goes, I want you to do your thing. I want you to...
Blocking it up?
Yes.
Locking it up.
So,
yeah, I like it.
Wow.
So they sent me all the files. Manager named Barbara from LA. I changed the drum. So they gave me Natalie's phone. So me and Natalie talked on the phone. I said, my idea for your song is make it like if it was an Alicia Keys record with you singing. And she goes, I love that. So I did my homework. You got to do your homework.
Yeah.
So you do the 808 drums, the real piano, the synth strings, synth bass. I changed a few parts. She loved it. So I was finished with it, but then I got another thing in my head. I go, wow, what if I had a friend, Patrick, who was in our band. Patrick played trumpet. And you ever hear those, when you're watching a movie and you hear the muted trumpet?
Yep, way in the background.
But the scene is like it's raining and it's dark in New York. So I called Patrick. I said, Patrick, come to my house. You're playing it on a Natalie Cole record. Not only that, on that Natalie Cole record, I got Donna Allen, Tommy, and Chrissy to do background vocals.
Oh my God.
The record never came out. Natalie died.
Oh.
But I got paid.
You think it's one of those things where someday the family will release it?
I could release it, but I don't want to get sued.
No. I just thought, you know how sometimes there's records in the vault that people got sitting there.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really dove into that, if that could happen. And I was telling Ruben, we got to get this out quick because this production could change my life in the music business as far as producing. Produce Natalie Cole. I mean, the only people that produced Natalie Cole were guys like David Foster.
Right.
Well, let's move forward then. So just off the top of my head, because I've been talking to you for so long, just name some of the projects that actually came in through your email that you mixed in your studio, in your home. So in the last decade, what are some of the names of files?
I just mixed Morgan Wallen.
Okay, you just did Morgan Wallen, right? Morgan Wallen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when does your manager, or rest in peace?
But I didn't get that from a manager.
Okay.
I got that from Paul Trust.
Okay, so
I was just going to ask, did Paul
Trust
Trust do it?
Okay, so when you get a file, I guess I'm trying to understand it.
Files.
No, that's what I'm getting at. So you may get the whole band to mix, or do you ever?
No, it's the whole song, complete.
It's the whole song.
Kick drum, snare, high tom.
Oh, I
floor
thought
tom,
sometimes you
crash
just do
cymbal,
certain parts.
overheads.
Like,
no.
Oh, you do the whole
Piano,
mix.
Yeah.
Hammond organ left, Hammond organ right, guitar left, lead solo, acoustic left, acoustic right.
Yep.
50, 60 tracks. No, dry. Start from the beginning.
Do you work with people locally, or do you handpick people
No.
locally?
I love mixing my friends too.
You've mixed so many, because every time I talk to one of my buddies and they say, we just recorded, just recently somebody said, just talking to somebody not even a couple days ago, yeah, we bring it over to Steve's house.
I mixed the first Grindstone, Tim Tolson.
Yes.
I mixed it.
Dude, I remember when he got that recording, he was so excited, man.
That could have been 15, 16 years ago.
Yes, I remember when he got it. We were all pumped. I said, Steve Gordon,
I did that. Yeah.
And what's you just did somebody like in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks? You didn't the Superfly thing? No, that's Miguel. But who did you just did someone else that was just? Oh God, I want to throw that name out there.
I just did Morgan Wallen, and it went number one.
No,
on
I'm talking about locally.
Billboard country charts for 2 weeks. Morgan Wallen.
So was that one of the things Paul did a long time ago?
Yes. What happened was Paul had a deal with Morgan.
Right.
The reason that Morgan made it is because of Paul.
Yeah.
And I'll put that out into the world.
Yeah. I was around for that because
Yes.
Paul and I got together to try to write something for it too.
Yeah. So they wrote 15 songs together, and Paul started his own label with a friend of his called
Bill.
Panacea.
Yeah.
They released, they did pretty well. And from what I heard was, I get a phone call from Paul, it was like November. And he goes, would you be up to mixing Morgan Wallen, but there might be some backlash and I don't know if you're okay with that. I go, I'm 70 years old. You think I give a fuck?
Right.
I don't, I said, the more you talk about somebody, the more famous they get. I don't care. So he goes, I did these songs 15 years with him, 15 years ago. He doesn't even want them to come out, but he doesn't even talk to me, and I'm responsible for him making it. And why shouldn't I put them out? And I go, I'm with you. So I'll mix whatever you want.
I remember when that all happened. I thought Paul got the.
It gets more interesting.
Yeah.
It's distributed by Sony. Sony hired Chris Lord-Alge to originally mix this.
Which I don't get at all.
Okay, but listen. So Chris Lord-Alge wanted 8,500 a mix. So Paul gets the first mix that Chris does and goes, I don't like it. So he goes, mix the same song. I mix it. Paul goes, we all love it. Sony loves it. You're doing it. I go, you kidding? Chris Lord-Alge? I'm doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Lord-Alge, Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and Paul's words were, well, I mean, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but I'm not going to. He said, I think that somebody either farmed this out to an assistant engineer or spent 45 minutes on it thinking that this was going to be great, But I mean, I knew when I did it, I said, because I do it in my house, so I don't have to tear the studio down.
Right.
You go into a studio and pay $185 an hour, your time is done, someone else is coming in. So my studio, I can leave a mix up for 4 days and I'm not worried. Go make a sandwich, eat.
Yep.
So I made sure that like mine was going to be like, and Paul goes, we love it. So he goes, you're going to do the whole album. So then here's what happened. So I didn't do the whole album. I did half. So Paul goes, about 4 days later, Sony wants it, the whole album done, given to them in 7 days. I go, Paul, I can't mix 9, 10 songs that quickly and get feedback and changes.
You're right, revisions.
So Paul mixed half and I mixed half.
So did it get released? I mean, is it out there?
Yeah, it's out. When it first came out.
Is that a flat rate for you? I'm just curious. Is that a flat rate? Does it give you X amount of dollars and you're done?
No, I made a flat rate, but the money was very good.
Will you ever see a credit?
Yeah, I have credit on it.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Mixed by Steve Gordon.
So this record.
Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Morgan's last thing was the 35-song triple CD, right? About a year or two
I
ago.
remember that.
Yeah, because my daughter has a friend. I mean, I'm a friend of him too. He's got 9 songs he wrote on it.
Nice mailbox money there, right?
But so the deal, the songs that you guys are putting out through Sony, that's on Paul and Bill's label Panacea.
Yes, distributed by Sony. So that's Paul. It's Paul's deal.
Yeah, right. Well, great for Paul.
Yes, and I told Paul, Paul, he was a little worried that like things weren't going to go okay. And Paul said to me, and he even, like, let's keep it a little quiet when it comes out, and after all the smoke clears, we'll start talking about it. And that's it was a good idea.
Should we get Paul on the show?
Oh yeah,
I'm asking you, Steve.
Why not?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I met Paul working at Audiovision. Paul came out of recording school at the University of Miami, and that's how we met.
Oh,
yeah.
He played drums. He was a drummer in
Paul's
like
a
a
drummer.
local band.
They had
Remember that?
Jesse Strange.
Yes.
Holy cow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
is there any weird stuff going on between the
Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. I mean, if you go on Google, Morgan basically was telling his fan base, don't listen to this record. But the problem is if you're famous and you tell somebody don't listen
First
to
thing
my
they're gonna do is
record,
listen to it.
the record actually went 2 weeks on the Billboard Country Album Charts at #1. So, thank you, Morgan. I mean,
well, let me ask
what's
you
the
this:
name of the song?
Go ahead.
no, the whole album.
Oh, the whole album.
The whole album
about.
was
Okay.
for 2 weeks #1 on Billboard.
Is
Country.
that the biggest project that you've ever worked on?
No, Regina Bell, A Whole New World, Frank Sinatra, Celine Dion, guitar all the way.
Is it the biggest one
you
ever
did
mixed?
some heavy stuff too, didn't you? You did some real. Do you have anything heavy come out of there, out of your studio?
You're talking about
You worked with Aerosmith. Trying to throw. Where's somebody else? I know there was this not Soundgarden. There was something heavy that you were working on. I remember a few years back, I called you. I was like, what? Something from the grunge area.
I played guitar for Rob Thomas. That's actually I got called from Carl Richardson, who was the Bee Gees producer.
Yeah.
He called me up. He goes, "I need you to do guitars for basically it's Tabitha's Secret, but it's Matchbox 20."
Yeah, that was Rob Thomas's old band.
Right. So I did I did guitars on 5 songs. So and with Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel.
Man.
But I didn't play with Liberty at the same time. Most of the records that I've played on, believe it or not, like a lot of them were the bands playing at the same time at Criteria, like, Phyllis Hyman, Regina Bell, all that stuff with Nick Martinelli, a lot of black records we did at the same time. But then I get called. I mean, now we're in the era of, email me your part.
Oh yeah.
We're in the day of email, and
that's been going on for a while.
Yeah. I mean, when I was doing sessions, you couldn't nudge somebody's part. You either get it right or we do it again.
Right.
Yeah, and it's 24 tracks, so you have to commit.
Yeah.
It's not 96 to 190 tracks of Pro Tools. Let's move this and tune this, and so I mean, I grew up in the days of we play at the same time.
We're on tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fix this here and there. All right, next.
Well, let me ask you. Right now, what is it that you have? Do you have any other projects like right now that you're in the midst of working on right now at this moment? And
Yes, I'm doing. There's a girl. Her name is Nicole McLeod,
Oh, I know
black
that
girl
name.
singer, Whitney Houston League. She sings to me, she sings as good as Whitney Houston. She had a big hit record in the '80s. Don't You Want My Love?
Yep.
So I've been Nicole McLeod.
I met her at Marquee. Yep.
Yeah. So
you're working on it with her right now at this.
Yes, well right now with her I have the number 19 soul single in the UK. Right now.
Are you working like? Are you mixing her now?
I'm producer and mixer.
You're producing as well.
Yeah, like she's coming over today after I leave here, and I'm producing a track for her.
She's recording the track somewhere else, or
no, she records.
She's writing it and bringing it to you, and then you guys are working on it from there.
Yeah, well, she already did the vocals. Actually, the vocals are from. You know how sometimes people make and they sell looped tracks. Like you could buy somebody's voices. Like it tells you the beats per minute, and you'll hear a voice going,
yep.
And it'll fit, or a phrase. Come on, baby, let's dance.
Yeah,
Come on, baby, let's dance.
Splice.
Come on, baby, let's dance. You could buy CDs that have phrases. So she did a loop CD for a guy in England. She liked.
Oh my God.
This is fun. She liked what she did so much. She told the guy, I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to keep what I did and I'm going to make a song out of it for myself. So I'm producing that song today.
No shit. Cool. Let's move on. Let's see. We have to get into guitar playing. We haven't even talked too much about that. Right now, you've been playing guitar with the Private Stock Band.
28 years.
28 years.
That's a good run.
And that's a nice little run. Let's talk a little bit about it because this is where a lot of people might know you from.
Okay.
We're gonna mute Keith's phone for a minute, and I'm gonna make sure mine is muted. Hang on. And then we're gonna talk about how did you meet Eric? Well, when did you meet Eric? I mean, that's a long time ago.
When Eric left Los Angeles, I was in Wolfgang.
Right.
The rock version.
Right.
I went to Musicians Exchange and said, we need a keyboard player. And we went through a few auditions, and I met Eric, and I knew he was from LA, and I knew that LA, I mean, Guns N' Roses, and Van Halen, all these bands were coming from there. Eric went to school with Lenny Kravitz.
Wow.
So, I mean, LA was the rock place. And I figured, wow, if you're a keyboard player and you're from LA, you got to have a little bit going on. And he did. He was great. So he had one or two keyboards. He had his big hair. And he was in the band. We took him in the band. And
I wonder if that was before me or after me.
No, it was before. It was he first got here.
Okay, so
the very beginning when Eric got here.
So okay, I got you. So after he played with you, he ended up coming to my little project there for a few minutes.
Yes,
and that's
I don't know if you know this, but I did the sound at the Button South for your band one night.
Yeah, you did. Private Stock.
Yes, I did it one night.
So when our band deteriorated, let's move this forward. There's a band deteriorated. He kept the name.
Yes.
He kept rolling, and he brought in some different musicians.
Right, but he went on cruise ships.
Yeah, cruise ships, yeah.
And that's how he met Chrissy.
Oh.
And that's how he met Dave. So
how long has that lineup been? Dave, Chrissy,
the three of them together, I think they played nonstop cruise ships. This could be 10, 12, 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they were young. I mean, that was the perfect years.
And you guys are still going, crushing right now. It's playing everywhere.
But we're on, mostly everything is on land now. I mean, we do a few ships.
Right.
We do a headlining show, a rock show. There was one year where we did about 19 ship contracts in a year. But me and the drummer said, well, let's cut this down a little bit. Eric wanted to cut it down too. So
by the way, Eric DeBach, we're talking about Eric, and that's the Private Stock Band that Gordy has been involved with for 27, 28 years. So you guys basically play pretty much everywhere. You do a lot of corporate stuff, do big events, big festivals.
Yes,
I see your stuff.
Weddings, corporate
What's the
parties.
most famous person that you've met? I know you met a boatload because I've
Well,
seen all your stuff.
We just played with Carmine Appice playing drums.
Now bigger than that. I've seen you guys.
We were with,
I've seen
we
you guys
were
play
with Trump.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, there's Trump. Okay, it's getting bigger than Trump.
Actually, we played for Trump probably 8 times.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then you played a bunch of parties where famous people have either shown up in there. I saw you guys did the grand opening of the Hard Rock.
Yes, Johnny Depp was there. Aerosmith, Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez.
Huge, bro.
That's crazy.
And you guys did New Year's Eve.
Actually, we're the Hard Rock's first pick band. Like if they open up we did the whole opening in New York, in Manhattan.
Yes, you
Wow,
did.
that's a big
And like it's pretty much if they do a grand opening in Singapore, they want us.
Wow.
Right.
If they do a grand
That's great.
opening,
You are their signature band.
in Washington D.C., they want us. Yes, they love us.
And you guys are crushing. You guys are so busy as hell right now.
Yes.
Slamming.
Yes.
So right now you're still producing, you're still engineering, you're still playing guitar, you're still going after it. You're just crushing. You're still going, right? Any plans? Any plans for if you foresee the next, I don't know, year or two, you're just going to keep on going?
I'm going to keep going. I mean, like
We should write one.
they say, you know, if you're a if you're a musician and you love it and you retire, you die.
Yeah.
Well, can anybody? I don't know if you're even interested in soliciting your services. Let's say you had a day off and I needed a guitar player. Would you be willing to fill in with me?
100%. I love it.
Okay. If I had all my pre-production, I had 4 or 5 songs and I needed someone to mix them, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I mix it and I give you a price that you'd never get from anybody else.
Okay, I like that. If someone out there is recording right now and they're looking to get in with the man, do they contact you? Would they contact you and say, hey,
I just mixed Jimmy Fiano. He was on your show.
That's who I was trying to think of.
That's
I was
right.
I mixed Jimmy Fiano.
That's right.
So you are willing to do all that and help friends out, local musicians out.
Yes. I mean, if you're a big star, of course, I could charge whatever you're willing to pay.
Right.
But if you're a friend of mine or I know you through somebody,
right.
I mean, like I remember when and come on, give me a good deal. Give me a good deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
And
Boys,
I do.
excuse me 1 second.
So here's what we're going to say. Pick up that guitar. Give me a little background guitar, please. This is what we do. So everybody, a couple things before we close out this show. I have to tell you, I cannot be any happier that Steve Gordon came down here. Obviously, Keith has an emergency, so we're going to end this show on a good note. Hopefully that's a good note. And I want to thank you, Steve, for being part of this show. We're old friends. We've always kept in touch with each other over the years, and you've always been very kind. Eric, if you're listening out there, I'd like to get Steve a raise. He's deserved it. He's been around for many, many years, and I want to get him a raise. And that's about it. So for everybody out there in the soundcheck world, my name is Jim Robinette. This isn't Keith Ridenour. This is Steve Gordon, and that is Jason Sedoway, and we're really happy that you've tuned in today to watch a show. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have Steve drive up here from Miami to up here in Palm Beach and be in my house, in our studio. We'd like everybody to subscribe, so if you could please hit the subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Steve, thank you very much, my friend.
Anytime.
Let's have a hand for Steve. Steve, give yourself a hand. Give yourself a hand too. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.